Trying to grab all the groceries in one trip? Oof, not how you would have done that. You know sometimes less is more. Like when you drive less and save with the USAA annual mileage discount. USAA. Get a quote today.
The original Jaws.
That scene, seriously, to this day, there are people who will not go in the water because of that scene 20 years ago.
Did you just get the mental picture in your head of her just being whipped around in the ocean by Jaws? Susan Backlinie is her name. We've got her on the phone. Susan?
Good morning.
Man, horrible thoughts. I just picture you being tossed around in the water.
You're one of the great footnotes of American film. You know that?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Because Jaws was considered one of the... Well, first of all, it was Steven Spielberg's first big movie, of course. And that scene is forever embedded in everybody's head. Can you... First of all, how'd you get that part?
Okay, well, I've done stunt work and animal work for years. And just one of the older water guys in the business put my name in for it, and I was hired.
How old were you then?
I was 26.
26.
Long time ago.
Susan, can you estimate how many times you've actually seen the movie?
You know, I've probably seen it about 10 times, because a lot of times people will go out if I'm over visiting and rent it.
Now, just in case people don't remember, that was the opening scene.
The very first scene. You're on the beach with a guy, and then you run down to the beach to go swimming. A little skinny dipping, if I recall.
Ooh, that's right.
Now, something I didn't know, the scene where they actually find your arm on the beach, that was a real arm?
You know, I hate to disagree with them, but I don't think it was.
Because it says it was someone's real arm, that they held it in ice all day to make it look.
Well, you know, it might have been. I know they were going to make a cast of my body, and I just said, well, I don't think we need to go to a full body cast, honest. Especially if just an arm and a head are showing.
Right.
When you first saw that scene, when you first saw the movie, what did you think?
Well, I was real impressed with how it came out.
Because, you know, when you're filming it, it doesn't look anything like that, or you know, none of the music is there.
The music made a lot of it.
Oh, yeah, man.
Definitely.
And I know I've seen those behind-the-scenes shows on how they filmed that. Explain, though, how they got you to thrash around and how they hooked you up and all that.
Okay, what they did was there were some pilings about 50 yards out on the beach, and they ran cables all the way from the beach out to the pilings and through shivs. And then they put me in between the two pilings, and they had guys on the beach, about 5 or 6 on each cable. And we marked lines on the beach, and they would pull me right to the edge of the frame on either side, and then the guys just ran back and forth from mark to mark.
Wow. I heard that you actually broke a rib in that scene because the thrashing was so ferocious.
Well, you know, that was another bit of an exaggeration. You know, these people in the production office, you know how they write these things.
Right.
No, not really, but I'll tell you, it was tough. We would film from anywhere from 6 to 7 in the morning till 9 because of the light. And I'll tell you, I was home and exhausted at the end of the day.
Where was that shot?
It was shot in Martha's Vineyard. And then the shark's point of view from underwater, they shot out here in California on an island called Catalina.
Sure, 26 miles across the sea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you become a shark expert since?
You know, I haven't, but long time ago, I lived in Florida. And, you know, shark attacks are quieted up there immediately after they happen. And my mom happened to work at a radio station when I was in 5th grade, and they had all the attacks ever done in Florida. And I did a big report on sharks. I swam all my life competitively, professionally, and I'm a professional diver. So I know a lot about them. I've read a lot of books about them. I dove with them, but I'm not an expert.
I grew up in Corpus Christi, Texas, and seeing that just scared the hell out of me.
Well, you know, I had a daughter at the time, and she was only about 5 or 6, and she really wanted to go see it, and, you know, I didn't know what to do, and I figured, well, I'll take her. And so I took her, and I was kind of worried because we lived on boats and right across the ocean, and I was afraid it would bother her. So the next day she asked if she could go over there with some people that lived next to us, and I kind of snuck over there to see how maybe it affected her. And she was out on the water in a raft, kicking and playing, and I thought, oh, good.
I was 7 when I saw it. It ruined it for me. We used to go to the beach every weekend, and I was like, no way, I'm here on the beach. Have fun.
Well, you know, it's strange. I think about sharks whenever I go in the water. And it's not something you're supposed to do because the chance of a shark attack are less than being, you know, hit by lightning.
You've already had yours, and it was on film.
Exactly. That's I've been eaten once. I'm free to go in the water anytime I want.
Did you have a lot of interaction with Steven Spielberg?
Yeah, we did. We worked, of course, on that show, and I worked on 1941 with him. He's a wonderful director, wonderful person to work with. The thing he told me before we started is he said, when your scene is over, I want him under the seat with the bubble gum and the popcorn.
Ooh.
And I think he did that.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
That is still, to this day, I don't know about you guys, it's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah, it's intense. Jaws.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the Jaws 4 and 5 and all that stuff.
Well,
you kind of lost it. But that original...
With Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw and Roy Scheider.
Great actors,
Man.
great movie, very original for... God, who would have thought of that?
And Susan Backlinie.
It didn't get too carried away.
No,
I mean, all the first stuff, maybe the last part was carried away, but a lot of the stuff it did in the beginning was not something that, I hate to say that one wouldn't do.
Yeah.
It was kind of based on a true story that happened back east.
I'll just never forget Scheider. He looks down the barrel of that gun. He goes, "Smile, you son of a..."
Yeah, it was all over.
Love that. All right.
Thank you very much, Susan Backlinie from the original Jaws.
When you save on auto insurance for driving safe with USAA Safe Pilot, you'll feel like a big deal, even in a traffic jam. Save up to 30% with USAA Safe Pilot. Restrictions apply.